Hello, my name is Taya Naldasher, and I am a junior here at Bloomsburg University. My major is Communication Studies, and my minor is Political Science. Today I will be lecturing the class about human trafficking in America and Syria. I chose this topic because I feel like human trafficking is a really important issue around the world, but I feel like many people don't understand how dangerous human trafficking actually is. I am here today to inform the class about human trafficking and solutions to fix the problem. First, I will be defining human trafficking. From Homeland Security, human trafficking is modern-day slavery and involves the use of force or fraud to obtain some type of labor or commercial sex act. Human trafficking is a serious crime and a violation to all human rights. Many people who are trafficked are taken to different countries, so they are clueless of their surroundings. The action is seen as a hidden crime, where unknown languages and fear of death comes into play. Human trafficking brings in $32 billion a year and is known currently to be the second largest crime production around the world. Elements of human trafficking. There are three. There is the act, the means, and the purpose. The act is the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring of persons. The means are the threats, the force, the fraud, abduction, abuse on a person. And lastly, the purpose, which is the act of exploitation for sexual needs, slavery, and labor. All three of these elements define human trafficking and how it affects the victim. Next, we'll be talking about the main problems of human trafficking all around the world. One of the main purposes for human trafficking is for sexual circumstances. Traffickers use threats, violence, debt, lies, and many forms of unjust acts to compel children and adults to be forced into the system against their will. This event is also seen as modern-day form of slavery, like I said before. The International Labor Organization states that over 14.2 million people are trapped in forced labor under false and empty promises. Drugs play a huge part in taking control of the victim, forcing the victim to do whatever the trafficker wants him or her to do. Focusing on America and how human trafficking plays a part in this country, the number one problem why Americans are blind to this issue is because they don't see the issue occurring right in their own country. They think it only happens in other places. It is recorded that almost 200,000 women are taken into human trafficking every year. Most of them are American women. The biggest annual trafficking event in the United States is the Super Bowl. America is known for football, making the bowl a hotspot for being taken. From just this previous Super Bowl, 80 plus were arrested for prostitution and trafficking actions. Next, we will speak about Syria and how human trafficking plays their role in this country. Syria is known for being a transit country for sexual outbreak and trafficking among women and children of all ages. Due to the country's government being so weak, the officials do not show any significance of effort to eliminate the issue of human trafficking. Syria is more worried about making their military and ISIS so strong the young children of the country are forced into unlawful recruitment for violent battles to attack other countries, instead of saving themselves. The individuals who get wrapped up in the trafficking are punished for being a subject of it. Some trafficking victims are forced into the system from their families that trade them for money or land. Imagine that. Relations between America and Syria is what we're going to talk about next. Since Syria is a unitary republic state that is controlled under a totalitarianism system, a lot of the country's residents seek freedom in more developing countries like America. As the refugees are making their way to the promised land, they are often taken in by traffickers and end up disappearing by getting forced into the system of labor or prostitution. Sadly, they never make it to the other side. America has a federal law called the Trafficking Victims Protection Act that was signed in 2000. This is the first law to address human trafficking. Syria has no laws regarding to just human trafficking. Next, we will talk about the personal solutions for human trafficking. By fundraising, donating, and raising money for one of the many organizations that help to fight for the victims involved in human trafficking definitely helps. We can volunteer, because the more people, the bigger the outreach to find the people behind these terrible events. Be aware of the signs of human trafficking. Become educated, not just for yourself, but for every individual in your life, because no one deserves to be treated in this manner. Stay active on blogs and subscribe anything to do with the issue to keep the society aware. We must advocate. Voice your opinions to higher officials on the issue. And lastly, we can boycott. Boycott any products produced by child or forced labor, and we must deny them all. There are plenty of lists online that will inform you of who does what. Lastly, we will be talking about the promotion of advice for human trafficking. The issue of human trafficking may seem impossible to defeat, but the more people that support the problem and become aware of all the signs and suspicions, then we will see how the system of trafficking will deflate over time, and hopefully better the atmosphere for our generations to come. National Trafficking for Humans hotline is toll-free, and anti-trafficking hotline advocates are available 24/7. These are my references of the research I did for America and Syria in human trafficking. I hope that my presentation today really educated you on how dangerous human trafficking is and how we all should be more aware and more safe about our whereabouts. Thank you for your time.